Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing today? Hope you are having a lovely day. Ready for new stories from Ask a Lawyer? Let's go to the first one, about OP's entitled sister, who demands OP invites her to her wedding. But the problem is that she had an affair with OP's ex-fiance in the past. But now she is begging for forgiveness. They say the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Well, listen till the end of the story to hear my opinion on the situation. And also, please let me know if you think OP's sister deserves forgiveness. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My sister, 24 female, has a problem with the fact that I, 29 female, do not want her in attendance at my wedding. I haven't spoken to my sister properly in almost 3 years. The only contact we do keep is through our mother. My soon-to-be husband, 31 male, proposed to me 8 months ago after a period of dating, and in spite of past experiences, I was ecstatic. About 2 months ago, I started working on writing up and sending off the invitations, which took me a couple weeks altogether. Slowly but surely, I started to receive confirmation texts, emails, and calls. My mother called me shortly after she got her invitation and asked why my sister hadn't received one yet, which was mind-boggling, since my mother of all people would surely understand. 3 years ago, I was preparing for my wedding. I had the venue booked, the honeymoon booked, and paid for in full. The entertainment sorted, the dress, bridesmaid dresses, tuxedos, and food paid for. Everything was sorted. I was ready to marry the love of my life. However, 2 weeks before the wedding was set, my ex called it off with literally little to no explanation and went no contact. I was heartbroken and extremely confused. A couple weeks later, I find out from Facebook that my sister and ex-fiance were on the trip that I had booked for our honeymoon. Anyways, I soon discovered that for 9 months, they had been sneaking around behind my back, my sister and my then-fiance. Their relationship lasted less than half a year before he left her. Ever since, she has been begging for my forgiveness and insists that I need to let the past go, that she is my sister, and this childish feud will ruin our relationship. To me, it isn't just the fact that she did what she did, but the fact that she betrayed my trust and let me rant and open up to her about things that were going on in my relationship, whilst she was practically stabbing me in the back. I'm not quite sure what stance my family hold on this situation, because they generally keep out of conflict. But am I the a-hole for not wanting my sister to attend my wedding? The fact that OP's mother had the nerve to ask tells OP where she stands. OP needs to make it very clear with her that OP isn't comfortable with her sister being there because of her despicable, disgusting behavior. OP's sister stabbed OP in the back. You can never trust her again. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks or wants. OP has a right to have feelings about her sister and the overall situation. I wouldn't give her another thought. She would be dead to me. Let's see if the community agrees with me. MDSN Bell says, not the a-hole. She was also your sister when she ducked your first fiancé. If there was a time someone should have remembered that, it was her 3 years ago. Smooth Comfortable 59 says, what the duck? Childish feud. It's because she ducked your fiancé behind your back. Of course the relationship is already ruined. You should just let her know that, and make sure your mom understands and doesn't bring her. Otherwise you'll have to move on from both. No Accountant 3744 says, not the a-hole. There's no coming back from that level of broken trust. Some family might say OP found a new love, so should let it go, but to hell with that. I absolutely would hold firm on no contact with sister and make it clear to all she is not welcome at the wedding. My brother, 33 male, and his wife, 32 female, moved into a new house last week. They have 2 kids, a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old infant. Their old place was about an hour away from where my wife and I live, and they moved to a place about 2.5 hours away from us. They hired a moving company, but there were some things that the moving company wouldn't move, or that my brother wanted to move on his own. Think firearms, ammo, lawn tractor, snowblower, 4-wheeler, etc. The issue was that my brother doesn't have a vehicle or trailer to move those things, but I have a truck and a trailer. He asked if I would be willing to help him move those items, and I agree, but with conditions. About 4 months ago, my wife and I were going to a concert and needed someone to watch our 3-year-old son. My mother-in-law was supposed to, but she unexpectedly canceled the week before. I asked my brother if he and his wife could watch him for the 24 hours we would be gone, but he was going to be out of town that night, so asked my sister-in-law. She said she would, but wanted $100 for it. Her reasoning was that she's pregnant and already has a 2-year-old running around, so adding another kid to that would be a lot, even for one day. My wife and I didn't really have any other options, so we begrudgingly agreed. So when my brother asked me to help him move, I told him I'd do it for $100. I figured with the amount of time it would take to load and unload everything, and with gas for my truck, that's a pretty reasonable rate, especially considering that my sister-in-law had already set the precedent that we apparently aren't helping family out for free. My brother initially agreed to pay me that amount, but when I got to their place to load things up, his wife tore me a new one. She told me that they just had a baby and are already spending a lot of money on moving, and that I'm being an a-hole for even thinking of charging them. I reminded her that she charged us the same amount for babysitting for one night, and she said that was different because she was pregnant, and I'm an able-bodied man, and all I have to do is sit and drive, not chase two toddlers around for an entire day. I told her if that's the way she feels about it, I'll gladly take my truck and trailer home, and they can figure out something else. No hard feelings. She told me not to do that, but tried to offer me $50 instead of the $100. I told her it's going to be $100 or nothing, and then we are even and we won't have to charge each other for helping out in the future. We can just help each other out like normal families do. Thankfully, the baby needed attention, so sister-in-law went to take care of it, and my brother quietly slipped me $100, and we started loading things up. When I got home, my wife showed me a bunch of texts that sister-in-law had sent her about how big of an a-hole I am for charging them when they just had a baby, and how she's pissed at me for not accepting a lower amount. Well, sister-in-law made me laugh, as she finds herself not able-bodied because she is pregnant. I bet her husband is having a hard time while she is pregnant. Basically, she thinks she needs to be paid because she is pregnant, and OP can do it for free because he's a man. Well done for OP for teaching her a lesson, but I guess some people never learn. Let's see what the community has to say. Bam F1 1701 says, "Not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law opened this door. You just walked through it. And sure, it's different. All she had to do was watch some toddlers. You're using up gasoline, as well as wear and tear on your vehicle and yourself. Let's face it, moving things has a risk of injury, and a service is a service, whether you just had a baby or not. Besides, she extorted money out of you when you were in a hard place. You just returned the favor. Finally, your sister-in-law had no reason to be texting your wife. This was between you and your brother and her. That was just childish of her. I would not be surprised if she were bad-mouthing you to other people as well." Dragonfly OK 9277 says, "Not the a-hole. You were merely following the example she gave." Schwanzawant says, "Given the distance involved, that $100 won't even cover the cost of fuel and depreciation, let alone your time. Sister-in-law is getting a gift of your time already, and she's upset you followed her model of charging? Sister-in-law is an entitled a-hole." The Tim problem. Context. Tim and Lewis, the other son, 19 male, are both studying abroad right now. My in-laws aren't that wealthy. They gave both 1,600 euros, which would split to 1,000 for rent at a relative's house, and 600 for living expenses. I reminded them that Tim never had a good track record back home for studying, helping out at home or at the shop, and missing his driving lessons. He also is always toxic and aggressive towards Lewis verbally and flips off the parents. But they still decided to give him a chance to study abroad with the little money they have. We decided to give Tim 1 year to prove himself, but he has done the opposite. Tim missed 2 final exams due to oversleeping. He skips class because he sleeps at 3 to 4 a.m. due to gaming. He spends the little money they have on Uber Eats and sushi platters, 40 to 50 euros per person there. Due to the aggression, wanting to be together, and Canada being a nice place, Lewis is coming to study in Canada and will be living with my wife and me. There will be extra tuition costs here, though my in-laws propose that I pay part of it, and they will pay me back. I have no problem with this, because we are family. But I did remind them of a promise they have made about the 1-year test for Tim, which he failed. Financially irresponsible. My in-laws want to give him another year chance, and my wife tells them that they don't have the money to do it, especially since their business has been declining. They have many loans from banks and friends. They have no retirement plan. Bought a house for their siblings when they had a little bit of money. Now they are on bad terms. Most likely we'll have to take care of them since we are the most responsible and successful. Me, 80K, wife, 40K. I told them to stop wasting money on Tim and let him be an adult. They retorted, it wouldn't be fair for him because they sent my wife to Canada to study. But the thing is, They paid 3,000 euros in total for years of studies because my in-laws have two elderly friends, 85-ish, decided to take care of her. Conclusion: wife was crying, the mother was crying, and the father was silent. I understood they both feel hurt. I held back from saying this to them directly since we started dating, but now that we are married, I feel that I should help to handle things. About the other financial stuff, my wife talked to them about it on a separate occasion after discussing it with me. Note: my in-laws are great people, but stubborn and traditional beyond logic and reason. Well, OP's in-laws are grown people who can decide how to spend their money. But I think OP has the right to have an opinion, since they have asked him to help out with Lewis's expenses while he lives with OP. But if it wasn't for that situation, it would have been absolutely none of OP's business. Let's see what the community says. Friendly Order 3729 says, "You're the a-hole. It sounds like your brother-in-laws are going down the wrong path. But why you think you have any say in the matter is beyond me. You're an in-law to them. Stay out of it." Away Refuse 8493 says, "You're the a-hole, because unless this involves your house or your money, you get zero say. They want to give all their kids equal opportunities. You think Tim is worthy of discipline. Tim is not your kid." Lai Z says, "You're the a-hole. How is this any of your business? You don't have to take care of them." I, 21 female, got kicked out on my 18th birthday because my stepdad and I have never gotten along. He was always telling me I was useless, etc. I moved in with my fiance in May and just recently got a job that I would get insurance through after 90 days. I told my parents this and, joking, asked them not to kick me off the new insurance they were getting before I got insurance through my job. Well, today, week 2 of this job, I smashed my knee and had surgery on. After trying to pull through work, I was in tears and told my supervisor I needed to go home. I sent a message to my parents letting them know I was going to head to the hospital, and my stepdad informed me I was never put on the new insurance and to go to an urgent care instead. I was livid. I was already in pain, and I was still waiting for my fiance to pick me up from work. Here was the text conversation. Stepdad: "OP, you aren't on the new insurance, so try an urgent care before the ER. The toughs ended in September." Me: "Why did I get kicked off?" Stepdad: "You weren't registered as a dependent on the new plan. You're 21, out of college, and living on your own. You have a new job that will offer insurance. You can sign up for that." Me: "Are you ducking kidding me? When the hell were you guys going to tell me I didn't have insurance? Are you ducking kidding me? I told you I didn't get insurance for 90 days after I started this job, and you didn't want to ducking tell me that I got kicked off the insurance?" Stepdad: "I'll let you cool off before I answer that." Me: "Duck you." Stepdad: "That's not going to solve anything, so I'll simply state that I can see if I can add you until you get your own." I was beyond pissed and called my mom sobbing because at this point, I was in pain and stressed because I don't have any insurance coverage. First name by accident in front of my mom because I was so upset and angry at getting kicked off the insurance. She immediately went on the defensive for him and said, "You can go figure out insurance through the state or call R, my bio dad, who is kind of a deadbeat, because now I'm pissed." I got angry that that's what she was concerned about, and not the fact that I had just said I hurt my leg, that I yelled "duck you" and hung up on her. I blocked them both on everything and have decided to go no contact with them. I might have crossed the line yelling at my mom, but who takes their kid off the insurance without telling them? So, Reddit, am I the a-hole? Side note that I should add, nobody in my family likes my stepdad because we all agree he's a jerk, but my mom always sides with him. Clarification: my mom told me I was set to be on their insurance and that it would start October 1st. They were keeping me on because I have a few health conditions that I need meds for. Yes, I agree OP is an adult, but they should have warned OP that they weren't going to put her on the new insurance, so she could have made plans before it was an emergency. OP did speak poorly to her mom, but considering the extra stress and pain she was in, I give that a total pass. Old Advice 5685 says, "Not the a-hole for being upset, but if you got hurt at work, that is workers' comp. I am making the assumption that you are an American because of the insurance mess in the first place." One Dumb Pony says, "Not the a-hole. Why do some people who have kids immediately assume they'll need no help after 18? Kids are a lifetime commitment, and you can't just abandon them by not saying whether or not they're on your new insurance. Do these people not care if something happens to their family members?" My ex-wife and I were married for 4 years. She had 2 daughters with her ex-husband. They were 3 and 5 when we got married. After our marriage, I came to know that she basically cheated on her ex-husband, which led to their divorce. In retrospect, I think that our marriage was doomed from the beginning. Our marriage consisted of her wallowing in self-pity about how her infidelity destroyed her marriage, and her girls and me consoling her every day. She refused to discipline the girls because she felt that she was responsible for hurting, and I couldn't do anything because I was not the dad. Finally, she decided to get back with her ex-husband and cheated on me with him. I was kind of relieved that our relationship ended. I did everything I could for the girls, but their dad always managed to paint me as an a-hole. So I stopped trying to do anything and just provided for them. Now, after a couple of months, my ex calls me and tells me that her daughters want to see their stepdad. That's me. I was surprised because they never appreciated what I did for them. Long story short, things did not work out for the ex-husband and my ex-wife, and they broke up again. So I told her that they only wanted to see me because their dad kicked them out and told her not to call me again. She called my mom about it, and my mom thinks I was inconsiderate. Am I the a-hole here? Sounds to me like she's using them as a pawn, trying to weasel her way back into OP's life, since her plan with her ex didn't pan out. Let's see if the community has the same opinion. Orange Doormat says, not the a-hole. Sounds like your ex is just wanting someone to take care of her. ZTL says, not the a-hole. Definitely seems like the wife is trying to use the girls to try and weasel back into a relationship with you. G. Kaysen says, not the a-hole. Those children, unfortunately, have a crap set of parents, and many issues they will have to work through later in life. That is a crap situation, and it is likely more healthy for them if you stay out of it.